Kamala Harris, in your home state tonight, there is a brand new poll out in your state, Marquette University Law, out with a poll that shows her up 4. As you know, Governor, Republicans have only been able to win once in the last 9 presidential elections there. Do you fear, as a Republican, that Wisconsin's slipping out of reach?
No, these same polls showed Hillary Clinton up by about similar margins. It showed Joe Biden up. Both of those elections were decided by less than 25,000 votes in a state of nearly 6 million. So this is going to be razor thin right to the finish line. I was just with President Trump in Waunakee and Dane County, just a few minutes away from the state's capital. On Tuesday, he's back in Juneau in the central part of the state come this Sunday. This is going to be right down to the finish for Trump and Harris, no doubt about it.
I'm looking at that poll, though, Governor. Trump +7 on the economy, +12 on immigration. That's clearly good news for your side. On the other side, though, on abortion, Harris is up +17. So Trump does have 2 of the 3 main issues in that state, it appears. But when voters there in your state are asked if he is corrupt, they say yes overwhelmingly. If he is honest, overwhelmingly, they say no. So with that as the backdrop, how does he win?
Well, I think he's got to go back to the simple question. You may not like everything he does or every way he does it, but life was better when Donald Trump was president. It will be better again when he gets to be president again. It's without hesitation. People, unless they're highly partisan, can acknowledge the fact that prices were much lower when Donald Trump was president more than 4 years ago. The economy overall was better. The border was more secure. Public safety was less of a concern. It's one of the arguments I gave in Dane County the other day, which is by far the most liberal county in the state. I said, you got to go right to the heart of the facts and acknowledge that people may not like everything about him, but in the end, results matter. And they may like Vice President Harris more, but her policies have failed over the last 3.5 years. And for all her promises about what she'd do next, she hasn't done it thus far. Why should we believe it would do it going forward?
Again, live look right there in the state of Wisconsin. Kamala Harris set to speak any moment now. We'll take you there live. You know this, Governor. You ran for president. The most precious commodity you have as a candidate is your time. Where do you go? Especially in the home stretch here, 32 days. And the reality is, if Donald Trump wins one of the Midwest states, whether it be yours, Wisconsin, or go out east to Michigan and Pennsylvania, he probably wins. I wonder, Governor, if you were to tell Donald Trump, given that he is down 4 in your home state, maybe running tighter in Michigan and Pennsylvania, where should he go right now in the Midwest? Should it be to your state or focus more to the east?
Well, I think you're going to see what he's done the last 2 cycles, and that is this guy never rests. He's going to be in all 3 of those battleground states, I think, between now and November 5th.
But should it be split? Should he split his time across those 3? Where should he be going to be the most effective?
I think he's got to split it. I mean, right now, as you mentioned, he's got to win one of the 3. He was in Prairie du Chien on Saturday. He was in Madison, Milwaukee earlier this week. He's going to be in Juneau this Sunday. I think that's a clear reflection that internal polls show he's at the margin right there and within striking distance of winning. Similar numbers in Michigan and particularly in Pennsylvania. But I think he can hit all 3, and we need to have big turnout there, not just amongst Republican or conservatives, but amongst people who fed up with all the politicians feeling like they don't get it when it comes to high prices. Young America's Foundation poll shows even college students name the economy as their top issue.
So we're looking right now as Kamala Harris is about to be live in Wisconsin. She's going to be appearing with Liz Cheney. She is appearing in the birthplace of the Republican Party. But in an area where Nikki Haley was effective during the primary, Governor, obviously you could say, well, maybe Kamala Harris is just going there to taunt Donald Trump. But is there a world in which Kamala Harris going there could actually pick up voters? And you just talked about how close these last couple races were. Could this be an effective move for Vice President Harris?
Yeah, anytime either of the 2 candidates are here, it's effective on their part. Remember, Hillary Clinton lost the primary to Bernie Sanders 8 years ago, never came back to Wisconsin, never came back to Michigan. She lost those 2 states and I think regrets it to this day. So Harris being anywhere, just like Trump being anywhere in the state, matters. In terms of the optics of this, particularly with Cheney, if this was someone that was unexpected. If this was a former Republican governor, for example, in the state, it was Tommy Thompson, who firmly is behind Donald Trump. I was just with him the other day. But if he was on the stage with someone other than Trump, it'd be a big deal. But I think Cheney is just another Washington insider that doesn't really have much of an appeal to Wisconsin voters.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.